How do you find a good niche for high ticket dropshipping in 2025? Um, there's no perfect answer to it. In this video, I'm going to kind of give my stream of consciousness on the whole topic and kind of explain my thoughts, my strategies, and kind of give you a sneak peek into like how I've structured my course. So on that topic, real quick, if you are planning on building a high ticket dropshipping business, and you need guidance as far as how to do it, especially in 2025, from someone who has done it for a long time, look no further because I've been high ticket dropshipping for half a decade now. I've partnered with my partner Lisa, who has 20 years of SEO experience, and we've partnered together to build a really exciting new version of the course, which is coming out later this month. But if you get the current version of the course, which is in the link in the description below, you will be automatically grandfathered into High Ticket Masterclass 2.0, which will be brought up to speed in 2025 with things like ChatGPT, etc. So, that being said, let's talk about niches in 2025. There are certain principles with high ticket dropshipping as a whole that really never change. Dropshipping as a business model is 30 years old at this point, maybe even older, pretty much however long the internet's been around. All it means is that a manufacturer is shipping their product directly to a customer on behalf of a third party seller. And in this case, we are the third party sellers. So we don't physically interact with the products. This is why it's so lucrative. All you need is some funds up front to get started. But I will say, with the SEO that we'll be teaching in the program, you don't necessarily need nearly as much money to get started in this. It'll just take a little longer to scale, obviously, if you don't have instant traffic from ads. I don't mean to digress. The model as a whole is not new. And there are certain principles that don't change. I think the principles that do change over time are, quite simply, certain niches. I think certain niches get really saturated, for lack of a better term. It's not that the business model itself gets saturated, but when we're talking about products like fitness equipment or health and wellness stuff, just as examples, not necessarily need-based stuff, massage chairs, pool tables, all this kind of surface level stuff that's not need-based, it's more entertainment or desire-based, lifestyle-based. And they're just much better known products. And ultimately, it's a lot easier, or a lot harder rather, to convince someone to buy from your store. It's a lot harder to stand out among all these other people that are also selling the same thing, to try and convince them to buy from you something that's otherwise a very simple product. Where I have kind of found the edge in high ticket dropshipping in my own businesses is selling more need based, more otherwise kind of complicated products. So let me step back for a second. When we're thinking about niches in 2025, I think there's kind of two areas to really examine. The first is the intuition behind a niche. That's the less tangible piece. And then the second is the metrics. Let me first talk about metrics, and then we'll talk about the intuition piece. Not to go out of order here. So when we're talking about like what metrics actually matter, I think all of them matter to an extent. I mean, you can look at metrics and talk about metrics for keywords and niches until you're blue in the face. But at the end of the day, it's not the only thing that matters. So I think a really big one that is important is seasonality. Obviously, you can look at Google Trends. You can look at lots of tools where you see throughout the year, does something remain relatively consistent or not? Then you're talking about search volume. I think there's kind of this misconception where, if a specific keyword has too low of search volume, it only has like 5,000 searches a month. The assumption is that that's way too low. In my most successful niche ever, if you were to look up the search volume, it would only show you like 1,000 to 2,000 monthly searches. The whole thing behind search volume is it's really, really difficult to actually fully encapsulate the true search volume. Meaning different variations of a keyword don't necessarily get caught by whatever tool is measuring the search volume. I do think certain tools are better at measuring it than others, but the search volume at the end of the day is not the end all be all. And like my most profitable niche ever only had, if you were to look it up, 2 to 5 thousand monthly searches, and that was like during the busy season. It was a somewhat seasonal niche, but it made me a lot of money, and it led to a very high six-figure exit for my business. So all that said, metrics aren't the end all be all. I think if it was as simple as knowing what metrics to look for and just going in and finding the metrics that all of these people have access to through SEMrush, through SpyFu, through different tools, and solely relying on that, it's like everybody would have the same results, essentially. If it was as simple as just looking at metrics and making a decision based off of those. Where I think the less tangible piece comes in, which is the intuition. That's where certain people are going to have the edge in this industry. So let me get back to kind of what I was saying earlier. If you're comparing selling fitness equipment or massage chairs, very simple things, and comparing it to need-based stuff, let's say like some type of construction equipment or water pumps, stuff that kind of requires some industry knowledge. Maybe it requires like electrical knowledge. Let's say someone's installing a well pump on their farm and they need the proper electrical wiring run out there. And lots of websites out there that sell the same well pump, only they just have the product description. They say it's this horsepower, it's this voltage, blah, blah, blah. They just list the facts. But what they don't list is like, these are the requirements on your end if you're going to buy this. This is the setup that you need, and it's laid out very simply and concisely and organized in a way that makes a very easy buying experience for the customer. That part of that is like, that's you, that's a really good product page, but part of that's also like, okay, you took the time as a business owner, you chose a niche, you took on a niche that is challenging and requires industry knowledge, and you have to force yourself to learn it over time. But where you now stand out after weeks or months of like taking on this industry knowledge and incorporating it into your website is you stand out as a competitor amongst the crowd because you have the easiest buying experience online. And not only that, when people call in through doing all this, you are really good at closing sales over the phone because you know what the heck you're talking about. I think that's a huge edge in today's age of high ticket dropshipping that people don't give enough credit to. I've said it in many videos before. To be successful in this industry, for the most part, some people are really good at internet sales and SEO, and I'll get into that in a sec as far as SEO goes. Some people, that's just their thing, and they can find a lot of success from that. Where I have found success myself, and where people that have gone through my program and still interact with me to this day have found success, is building these more need-based, service-based, if you will, businesses with products for other businesses or for people that need them to perform a function, whatever that function might be, and actually providing really high-level customer service, consultative customer service. I think that's a really fulfilling way to get an edge in high ticket dropshipping. So then there's that side of it. Let's go back to the metrics real quick. I'm sorry, I'm kind of all over the place in this video. Again, this is just a stream of consciousness that I give you guys here, and I don't edit, so I'm sorry for that. When it comes to SEO, I feel like I've kind of matured as a business owner over the course of the last several years. with my perspective on SEO. When I first got into high ticket dropshipping, it was because I saw the potential for immediate results through Google Ads, because I had money saved up to use on Google Ads. Once you run Google Ads, you're going to start getting traffic to your website immediately. And so I didn't want to have to wait 6 months to see results from SEO. But over the course of time, the more I've learned this model, and the more I've seen certain stores kind of come and die, the more I have begun to recognize the value of choosing a niche and being really intentional about your SEO, so it turns into a very long-term venture that's really sticky and not volatile, meaning you're organically ranking, you know, really high among the crowd of whatever competitors you're dealing with in your industry. I think that's where the true value is, and that's what makes a business even easier to sell down the road if you're so inclined to do so. So when it comes to choosing a niche, that's something that you obviously have to keep in mind, is how easy is it for me to rank organically in this niche? Well, if you're talking about some of the stuff in the video that I just released yesterday, so like e-bikes or luxury pet stuff, baby stuff, health and wellness stuff, saunas, greenhouses, all that stuff. If you're trying to rank among those, it's like you're competing against domain authorities that are just simply too high for you to ever surpass. And so, not that you can't get some organic traffic from there, but it's like it's just going to be a total uphill battle. And I think your efforts are better spent elsewhere in a niche with much lower keyword difficulty and a much easier time to rank. And so, when it comes to niche selection in my program, in the 2025 version that we are in the process of completing and releasing, we go in depth with a lot of the things that we're looking at from an SEO perspective, as far as how viable is it to actually rank quickly in this and rank for the long term really, really high, get free traffic, get free organic traffic, to where this is kind of a perpetual business that isn't going away and you can either hold on to forever or sell. So all that said, I want to kind of wrap this up by summarizing that there are always just going to be intangible parts of this. It's not as simple as just looking at a spreadsheet, looking at keyword metrics and keyword data, and making a decision based off of that. And because there's just so much more to it, because we're dealing with real people here, and you kind of just have to think through, how is this product actually perceived? What is the purpose of this product? Is it a need? Is it a want? If you know me, if you know this channel, I really like need-based products, and that is exactly how I teach it in my course. So I'm going to end that there. I hope this was helpful. I periodically, I'd say like once a quarter, I'm going to try to make like niche conversation videos. So let me know in the comments, what I left out, what else you want me to talk about, and we will see you in the next video. Thanks, guys.